Okay, so we're gonna be trying this a new way. We're gonna see how it goes. So I'm putting this up shortly after my last update, and I had an idea. It was really as I was considering the Aizen Yawak Pond what if that I went, you know what, we can do a different. We can do different what ifs. We can do more on point what ifs. It's not going to pull in as wide a fan base, but we can do on point what ifs. By the way, can't tell I fiddled my audio settings, so hopefully this recording comes out better than the last one, which was like freaking terribly quiet. Um, I have I have a version of, I don't know how to put this, and I'm not going to edit this. You're going to hear me be all uncertain and hesitate, but I'm not hesitating for the reason I normally would. I have a 4 volume series that it used to be something else. I've repurposed it, I've reworked it. It now has a whole place and even has a prequel story, which keeping that a reasonable length would be fun, but that's a whole thing. I basically there's a whole timeline of things, and what I've come to accept, and it's true even in universe. I will never be able to accurately share with everybody exactly the timeline that led to the restructure of my writing realm. I just won't. I'll never be able to accurately recreate the series of events, point for point, that led to Araya reshaping all of reality with a single thought, which led to a whole chain reaction that changed everything. And the part of the reason why I can't is because a lot of the elements that were all the perfect cocktail that was formed from all that, it's been gone for coming up on a decade now. I restructured my world what feels like about a decade ago. And I've been so thorough in removing some of the old elements that made the material what it was at the time so much from the realm and from my own writing that there's no way to perfectly recreate the storm that was that series of events in world. And I know it's hard for me to write it, not because of that, because, well, I know the perfect storm will never come again. And so I know whatever I create, I've made my peace with that. Whatever I create will never be a perfect recreation. It's that I know in universe that Aurea would want to influence it. Aurea would want to weigh in and change things. And every single time I played with that, it's still a good story, but it's not the version that I am most proud of. Because a version of Aurea needs to be in that realm. A version of Aurea needs to know how the world used to be in order to, or at least needs to know the facts about a previous world in order to play the role she needs to play in that story. Which is easy. That's actually really frickin' easy in Lord. And just because I know exactly what would be on, I know exactly what her knowledge base would be when that all came about. But I also know that whenever I sit down to try and write it, I go, this is something that I'm going to have to revisit years down the road when I don't have other projects I'm trying to write and work on. But I feel that the knowledge of that timeline is too important not for people to know, because it actually influences a lot of even current events. It influences how Argenta and Aurea work as characters. It informs of them. It's practically a bit of necessary world building. I don't know if I could get additional talent in to help me with it. I don't know about that. You gotta keep in mind, I'm still a nobody with nothing. Um, but I want to share that story with people. I really think that if I shared the story of those characters as they've been written, and their supporting cast, mind you, that it would be okay. That it would be fine. And so I want to know if. Because I do want to try and write a version of the story at some point. And keep in mind, that's exactly what it is. In context of the realm, even if it's different, even if it's not perfect, you can just go, oh, that is an alternate reality version of these events. It's not how I imagined it, but it's still pretty good. I want to give you guys the verbal history of that previous timeline, what I've called the Scarlet Order series. I don't know, I had a better name for it, but it's the tale of the tale and development of a necessary organization known as the Scarlet Order. Um, and a lot of what's happening, both in the Siegfried saga and in what happened in the series that follow. Well, maybe not though, but definitely in the series that immediately follows Siegfried saga and even Siegfried saga. Um, by understanding those, it helps. And I kind of want to share that verbal history. I don't know how far back I would go. I don't know if I would go all the way back to Scarlet's Roost. Um, Probably would. Yeah, well, I'll leave that up to you guys. Whether you want me to hit it all in chronological order, or if you want me to focus just on the original series that changed things, and then how Scarlet's Roost brought it all together. Um, but yeah, that's up to you guys. I say up to you guys. I'm probably going to decide to do it one way or the other. But one direct comment saying that you would want to hear the retelling, the generalities, the me breaking down the events that happened in that timeline and that series of events. Uh, just a single comment would be enough for me. Not because this is such a small group, but because I'm really just looking for even one person who would be interested in that event. It's one of those situations. You ever want to share something, but then wonder if it's smart, wonder if it'll hurt the experience? That's about where I'm at. I don't want to hurt the experience for everybody. I don't want to pull the curtain too far back and reveal how the spaghetti noodles are made. Um, but I really like this story, and I want to share it before anything gets in the way. So I guess what I'm looking for is the one person to say, hey, you're being a weird auteur, knock it off. Or to say, way to be a weird auteur. I want to hear this. And I guess we'll expand from there. I might even, I could probably record it all in like a freaking couple days and then put it on an upload schedule. I swear to God, I could probably do that. Ugh, wouldn't that be a thing? Just have like 3 shots of whiskey and just go into it. Oof. Anyway, just if you happen across this video and you're interested in the idea, leave a comment. If you find it through my Twitter repost, you can repost it there and leave a comment there, or you can comment here on YouTube. Doesn't matter. But I want you guys to know that this story is going to seem familiar at first because it was a rework of something else. But I had an actual natural place to put it in my setting. An actual set of rules that matched perfectly, and a setting that kind of benefited from this a lot. And I don't know if I'll verbally communicate which one's this, but so there are certain scenes, certain moments that when I find the songs for them, like whenever I rediscover the songs that really help me flesh out that moment, I don't forget. I remember those moments very clearly. And I'll definitely end up doing a bonus videos of potential versions of the ending I had originally had and then elected not to do. Because I like my actual ending better. And I think I'll do it in the same way I was planning on doing if I was going to write it, which is we're gonna deal with each character's kind of arcs individually. I might do an overview of just all events. No, you know what? My stories live or die on their characters. So certain stories are going to involve more than one character, mind you. But I'm going to be telling important. Yeah. I don't know. I might start with the. I was going to say my characters define the whole series, but I think I don't know. I'll figure out whether or not I want to do a general and then do a character breakdown, or if I want to break it down by character and then give a general timeline at the end. Either way, you're going to get the general overview, and you're going to get the individuals, just for their individual character arcs and who they are as people. And we'll start from there. Including I have a I don't mind giving it away in this video in particular. I have a trope in my fiction that I've noticed and I don't apologize for. And in this particular 4-volume series I had originally plotted out and had ready to go, I subverted it in a way. And that trope is that I like giving my characters, like my main hero characters, crippling injuries. I don't know what's up with that. I think it's just a storytelling thing of just like it provides lasting consequences and texture to how they interact with the world. I notice a lot of writers do that. Some of them brush it under the rug when it's inconvenient. I personally prefer to, if I'm gonna cripple you this way or that way, I'm going to either have it be a character point that you have actively trained to count on people trying to use it against you, or that it affects everything you do and that you have gotten so used to not thinking about it, but everybody around you can't help but notice. Like every bit of dialogue will draw attention a little bit to how that affects what you're doing, but you, the character, don't blink an eye. It's just how you interact with the world. And that's how it has to be. Like, in my particular case, I have this weird thing where I keep removing people's left arms. Like all of the heroic characters that have scars, I'm like, yeah, who needs a left arm? Good old righty's all you really need. But again, I make that every character copes with it differently. And even when I introduce prosthetics, I still make sure that there's a purpose that prosthetic serves in their life. I don't make it up. They got a prosthetic arm now. Everything's fine for them. No, that prosthetic is a part of their life now. And whenever somebody loses a limb, I make sure that there is some kind of narrative purpose for it. And it speaks a lot to them, or it haunts them, or it has an effect. But I take away people's left arms a lot. And it's very fun to take that idea and put it on its head. But yeah, so if you ever see characters losing their left arm in my series, like, I don't know. Left arms are held on by scotch tape and a prayer, I guess. I don't know. The implication being that because limbs are so important and the left arm's the one you think about the least, that you're sacrificing something important without thinking very hard about it, because it's not your primary way to help people. And so your brain kind of just filters it out. That I think is, if I had to overanalyze my trope, it shows this self-sacrificing or reckless spirit in a way that wouldn't affect somebody who's not predominantly left-handed, which, by the way, I have lefties in my world who also lose their left arms. So even that, I don't know. I'm pulling at straws trying to define my own trope here. Like, I'm just saying, I give people flack and so I'm going to give myself flack. And apparently, if you have a left arm in my setting, just I don't know, like bolt that thing on. Put steel bolts through your shoulder and make sure that thing is on there tight, because I might take it off. Actually, don't put it on with bolts because I also sometimes like to make it poisonous, which is another. It's only happened like no twice, only twice in my setting actually. But it's weird that it happened twice. Like I liked it. I liked the idea of forbidden art, poison left arm. Um, but yeah, that's what's going on with that. Uh, so a single comment saying that you guys want to hear it, and I will sit down with a few shots, I guess, and start recording it out and just explaining how that went down. It's going to require a little bit of extra context even beyond Scarlet's Roost, but it's important to understand. Does it all... Man, if I really broke it down... I don't know how far I'd go back into the past. Ugh. Well, we'll start with the series itself, I guess. And when we're doing the series itself, I will focus on just the parts that matter to that. Scarlet's Roost, I count as like close enough. It's in the same realm and in the same timeline, so I might start with Scarlet's Roost as necessary background. But yeah, like I said, this realm kind of needed it. It was a whole hot mess. Anyway. For first video I post will probably be the necessary backstory to the whole thing. So it'll involve pre-Scarlet's Roost and the events of Scarlet's Roost. That'll probably be the first video I make. And I might not do a full breakdown of Scarlet's Roost and all the character arcs that were intended to happen there, and I still might write it. But I'll start with the history, the necessary history before Scarlet's Roost and Scarlet's Roost itself. And after Scarlet's Roost, we can get into what I think is conceptually my magnum opus, but has yet to actually be penned. So I wouldn't say it's absolutely my magnum opus, because it hasn't been penned yet. I can't take pride in something I haven't finished creating. It is my Akulakan. It is my Heart of Lorcan shell. It's incomplete, but it holds a great deal of power that I tap into on the regular. But yeah, recording this was just an on-the-fly idea, and I wanted to get the opinions of the people who experience my fiction. And I know I'm probably going to get the just go for it answer, but I'd rather ask you guys, because the whole point of this to me is that, yeah, I'm making this. I have pride in it. I know that it holds up in the end and that it's well told. Even if I don't feel I'm the best writer ever, I know the stories hold up. I know the stories are quality. But I don't ever want to hit a stage where I allow ego to draw a divide between me and those who have passion for the craft as well. We don't get anywhere by escalating ourselves and holding others beneath us. The goal should be to lift everybody who comes after you ahead of yourself. That way, you're elevating the whole art. Not just pulling up the ladder of people that you believe are beneath you. It's sickening, and I don't care for it. Anyway, I am going to edit this, post it up, see how you guys feel. And let me know if the audio is good here, if it's too loud. But other than that, have a good one.